And did you ever envision yourself in another profession?
Not really. I have done some teaching in the court reporting arena. I worked at one point with a university that was interested in doing articulation agreements, so I did that for a few years, kind of tired of that. Taught here and there, which I found very rewarding. But the student today versus the student a few years ago are two different animals.
Tell me about that.
Well, those of us that have been in reporting for a while, when we came through as students, we wanted to do the best that we could do. The student today doesn't always want to do their best and decide that reporting is a little too difficult for them. A lot of them drop out and come back. I always try to encourage those that really had something to offer to come back.
How has the profession changed the most, in your opinion?
Well, it's almost required now that you gain as much as you can in terms of knowledge, the ability to do all of the things that are possible, the real time, learning how to research, just doing it all. I'm not so sure that some of the young people coming along are really into it. Perhaps they will be in time.
Along those lines, if a career counselor interviewed you, how would you describe the profession?
That's a bit tough. See, I look at it as rewarding in every sense of the word.
Technology driven?
Yes.
Does that surpass word knowledge? How do they interact?
Well, first
Is
of all,
it better to have an education or better to be good at technology? Or does it require both?
I think it requires both. But then that's just me. I think education should always be first.
Well, if someone was pursuing the profession, what advice would you have for them?
Get an education. Learn as much as you can. Have mentors. Operate and learn what you can from everyone, and particularly the professional, the real professional.
Following the advice of your mother and dad about giving something back, did you translate that at some point into belonging to a reporting association? And if so, which ones?
Yes. Of course, I joined the National Association, and at home, the Michigan Association. And as soon as pro bono was developed, I was right there. And I think I was able to have all of the awards that were given at national and at the Michigan level for pro bono work. I just did it all.
What committees have you served on as far as national is concerned? What was that experience like?
Well, I was a little floored by the national experience. I served on the board for 3 years. And did what was required, the traveling, the going from state to state to be a representative. But I was always concerned because our boards are great, our officers are great, but we don't have a diverse board or diverse officers. African Americans are not represented in those bodies.
And while you were a member of the board, was that ever talked about? How can we increase our diversity? Maybe not just on the board, but on committees, or
No.
even how about the association?
No.
If I were a relatively new reporter, what would, if anything, would you tell me about working on court reporting association committees, or whether I should become involved?
Well, first of all, I would tell you to become involved, and then try to talk to you about your interest. Whatever your interests are, there must be something that you can use that interest and give back.
Very well said. If your peer group got together and decided to reminisce about you, they would say, Marilynn is...
Well, I had that experience just the other day. Marilynn is quiet but dynamic. She will tell you what she thinks. It may take a while, but she will tell you. I think that was about all that they expressed to me. There might have been some other things that they talked about, but they didn't tell me about it.
I see. Marilynn, how would you like to see your contributions to the profession remembered?
Well, basically just that Marilynn Elizabeth Adams Dillard was a member here, and she gave the best that she had.
I'll say. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about you that I've failed to ask or you think is important?
No, I think you've covered it well.
Okay. Thank you so much, Marilynn. Appreciate the opportunity to chat with you.